Pepsi Man!
That's amazing. Oh, that's great. So I have this, but it's still very hard to get. And then Stunt Cycle, have that. Hey, look, it's Brett Weiss.
Mr. Hancock, how you doing, sir?
Doing great. You excited?
I am, man. I'm pumped. This show is bigger and better than ever. This is my 5th year doing this show, and I'm just amazed by how big the vendors room is. A lot of familiar faces. Set phasers on fun.
I was super excited to go attend CORGS in Columbus, Ohio, Ohio's first retro gaming convention, and the vendor hall was huge. It was the same one that Torg used this last year, and wow, there was so much to see. Games, special guests, as well as people from the industry. CORGS had a little bit of everything, and I was delighted to attend it. There was other conventions advertising there, upcoming shows, and I had so much fun connecting with friends I hadn't seen in years, and it was so amazing. It was a great show. They even had some great giveaways, Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition, an Xbox Series X, and more. General Malice was there, and he's a great friend, and it was awesome to see Derek, as well as Tom from Guys, Games, and Beer. He was in my video from Midwest Gaming Classic, and wow, I was looking around the vendor hall, and it was huge, and there was everything from Atari to Xbox, even weird stuff, Mattel Hyperscan, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, console systems, as well as a throwback to many of the classics. Michael of Good Deal Games was there. Really nice to see him. I hadn't seen him in many years. And then Jay from Square Pegs, brother from another mother. He's been on my channel. We do a podcast together, and it's a lot of fun. And the vendors were super nice. Saw that really cool Atari backpack. That was awesome. And, you know, there was just games and deals everywhere. The prices were reasonable. There was some high-end stuff there, but deals were to be found. I also was part of a YouTube channel with Adam Korlick, Mr. Rightway, Jay from Square Pegs, and as well as Nintendo, who was kind of a guest person walking around. Super nice guy. This one vendor here had saved ads over the years from, you know, newspapers and put them all together into a collection. It was so awesome to see that. Leonard Herman was there. He got me into collecting video games. Awesome author. Also Game Junction, and they were there, and they were super nice to meet in person and just kept having a great time. Also Warren Davis was there. He's the original programmer of the arcade game Qbert. But there was just so much, and there was tons of like pop culture stuff as well. It wasn't just games. There was some crossover. There was some great merchandise, you know, Nintendo chests, these wrestling buddies. I remember people growing up with those. Even rare stuff like a Turbo Duo that was there for sale. Saw this promo Judge Dredd card, pretty expensive, but very rare. And then Adam bringing his Sega Pluto for people to play. Oh my goodness, so nice to see this extremely rare item. And I just want to say just a thank you to Adam Korlick, great friend, super nice, and had a great time with him. He's really been a great help with traveling, and just may want to check out his channel because it's awesome. The Torg staff was there, and it was awesome. They had a great setup, and looking forward to attending that show in November. And what a great group of people, as they had a really cool setup. And I'm just looking around, and I just was what to purchase. There were so many things I wanted to see. This vendor had a few things that I didn't have in my collection, and I did pick some up, and we'll show them later in the video. This vendor had some holy grails, things that I had not seen in person. Can you guess which thing is a grail on this table? There's a few, and I am just having a blast playing a Vectrex. And, you know, it's just so awesome that this show had so many of the classics represented and affordable prices on many items, everything from Atari Xbox. Here's a DOS based of Ghostbuster. Oh my goodness, never saw this one in box. This vendor actually had a lot of classic stuff. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Over half of you have not subscribed. So if you consider my videos of value, you may want to consider it, as it helps me out. And so looking more at the vendor booths, I saw so many odd items and classic stuff pre-Nintendo, as this was a show recommended to me to attend, and it did not disappoint. There were so many great items, you know, even homebrew stuff, or of all things, a Virtual Boy. This is Hyper Fighting. This is a game I don't have in my collection yet. It's one I want to pick up, but it was 300 bucks. That is a lot of bread for a homebrew, but it was still cool to see it for sale and at this expo. What did you see that you liked? So here's the organizer, Gary, and just want to thank you so much for having me out. You have an awesome show, and just want to thank you for everything that you've done, and this is just beautiful. Went out with some friends to First Watch to have $1 Million Bacon, and it was awesome. We're at South High Street Flea Mart, and I am super excited with my good buddy here, Justin. So let's check it out. My flight wasn't leaving Ohio till the evening on Sunday, so I got to check out several flea marts and game stores in the area, and this outdoor flea mart had some PlayStation stuff. It wasn't anything I was really pursuing as I was looking for older stuff, but it was kind of sweet. They had a reissue of Panther. They had several vendors with game stuff. Just wasn't the items that I was looking for. We hit the Ohio thrift store. This was a chain that I saw multiple locations. There wasn't anything great at the location that we checked out, but it was still nice to see multiple thrift stores. And like anything, when you go to a thrift store or flea mart, you may not find everything every time. They had a lot of Pops stuff. They had some computer games, but nothing that kind of was scratching the itch for me, as you know, I was looking for older stuff. There was an awesome flea mart though, and there was many vendors with classic games in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, city area. And so this vendor had some Pokemon cards. Not into that, but I know there's many people that probably watch this channel that also collect that. Inside, because it was outdoor and indoor, there was tons of vendors with everything from Game Boy, Game Gear, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, box Genesis games. Very nice to see that. Wide assortment. Prices were all over the place. There was some fake Pokemon games there, and so you do have to be careful with some of that. We found this weird PBS virtual reality headset. That was odd. That was probably the strangest thing. We saw these Game Boy loose carts, and outside there was a vendor with everything from Atari, Nintendo, and Sega stuff, and it was nice to see. He had an uncommon variant for Super Mario Brothers 3, and that was pretty cool to see, the left side. And so yeah, that was awesome, and just really some cool game stores as well. Capital Games is one of the better game stores in the area, and inside they had a very nice selection as well as some rare signage. Some of it and most of the signage wasn't for sale, but it was still cool to see. They also had these really cool standees and super rare, and it was awesome to see all three of those characters together, as you know, it's probably the only time I'll ever see that. We got hungry for lunch. We went to White Castle, as I don't have those in my area, so that was tasty. Another game store, Forever Games, really nice selection, a smaller game store. They had some pretty cool displays. They had some game cases for Sega Genesis and Sega CD, even Saturn, and so it was cool to see that. And they had a PlayStation display. It was very clean and a nice selection. It's nice to see PlayStation games displayed like that as well. They even had this rare Mortal Monday signage now for my pickups. You're probably wondering, what did I pick up? And I'm happy to share with you. I found many classic game items and more. I'll start off with a couple of the extras. Shot glass, awesome. Always like when conventions do that. Those are awesome. And scored a pin from Adam Korlick. Altered Beast, thank you, Adam. Great channel, by the way. Scored a classic 9-pin classic controller for computers and Atari 2600. and this was from an Atari vendor, had a lot of classic stuff. Never seen that before with the original price tag. I love getting stuff like that. I scored a 3DO joystick for $5 untested, but this is the Flight Stick Pro. This was made for several platforms, including mainly PC. I had one of these back in the day, but for $5, an extra controller, oh yeah, sign me up. So that was awesome. I purchased this. This was Return of the Jedi on Atari 8-bit complete with manual, and it was in really nice shape. And this is for a future video, and look forward to doing that very soon. That was cool. I found a box for a game I don't have, and that's one-on-one basketball. And finding the original box of this game in particular for ColecoVision is pretty tough. That was sweet. Justin and Claire, thank you so much. Got me a signed box copy, sealed, of Q*bert from the original arcade producer, Warren Davis. So Warren Davis, who's the original programmer for Q*bert and designer. Awesome. He didn't do the 2600 version, but anyways, my favorite version of Q*bert. I love the the 2600 version. All right, so much more. They had a t-shirt vendor that was selling a Sega font gamer shirt. I got that for $10. That was a nice side purchase. Other things that I scored that were awesome, and Howard Scott Warshaw, and he was there in person, and he signed a book, Once Upon Atari, and this is a book that I plan on reading. Awesome that he was offering that for only $20 too. I mean, that's like awesome deal. And then I have a huge shout out to Leonard Herman. Leonard Herman is my main author that got me into collecting video games, and he does the Phoenix series. It's Phoenix 4 now, but he authors other books, and this is ABC to the VCS, and you can get his books on Amazon. The link will be below where you can check that out. And that is with a foreword from Brett Weiss. An amazing book if you want to know more about Atari 2600 stuff. Very sweet. And he does some other books, Unhappy in Heaven, which he's really proud of writing, which is non-game related. So that is a sweet little extra. But I'm going to get to the Grails, don't worry. All right, so I scored some other things, but there's three main things that were the Grails, and I'm happy to share those with you. A huge thank you to Justin again for helping me get Tutankhamun. Thank you so much, Justin. And this is incredibly rare for Intellivision, and this wasn't released here in the States, but it's part of the 125 that many collectors go for Intellivision. It is complete, I do believe, has the warranty card, and it has the catalog, which is really sweet. It looks in really nice shape, as well as the manual. And so I'm down to 7, I think, for the set. These are pretty tough to get, and here's the card. Card has a little bit of label. Looks like the glue is coming through the label. Actiplaque, I think, is the nickname that was once given to Activision games for the 2600. Often had that. But yeah, it's in really nice shape. The manual and everything's really, really sweet. And so I am just ecstatic of having this game in my collection. As you know, I'm a big Intellivision fan, and I love collecting for it. I don't have everything, but I'm getting closer, and I think it's attainable, and it's something I'm going to pursue moving forward. I think might be one of my final sets I complete. And so this is Tutankhamun. Anyways, thank you so much again, Justin. All right, next up is another huge Grail. And actually there was a gentleman, it was an older gentleman, part of the Atari Club, I think, in the area, and he was coming around, and he was offering it, and unfortunately nobody was taking him up on this incredible item that he was offering. It's pretty rare and odd, and I paid $90 for it, and it is something I have wanted in my collection a long time. I think he was selling it under value. Not that matters to me, but I scored a sealed game line, And this this technology, for people who don't know, it was a modem service where you could download games for $1, and you could only keep them a week though. So you would, you know, using this device, you could you had to pay for a membership service and download games to your 2600. Only keep them a week, and each game was $1. So I think their business model was flawed. It didn't do well, but the technology went on to then incorporate into Quantum Link, which was pretty successful for like computers such as Commodore 64, and then that company ended up going on to do America Online. So that's the Wikipedia has more information about this, but man, this is really sweet. And having a seal's breaking off, it doesn't matter, but game line. So yes, I've wanted this accessory, rare accessory for the 2600 for a long time, you know, and I always try to collect the odd and hard to find, and sometimes it's just hard to find stuff at a reasonable deal. This was an incredible deal. The gentleman who was selling them had the original case, a box, and so something, I wish I could have taken a picture of it, but anyways, that's that. And then finally the final Holy Grail, and this is going to be amazing to show. And it is a huge shout out to Game Junkies. So Game Junkies helped me acquire this. I want to thank them. And they're in Roanoke, Virginia, and the link will be below to that. And I got a Vectrex original carry case, Hong Kong. There is some damage to it. It is stained, and there is some minor wear and tear. But these are getting pretty hard to find. In fact, I reached out to the Vectrex users group to find an approximate value. As you know, thank you Game Junkies, and really appreciate that. The link will be below to their website where you can check more information about them. They're in Roanoke, Virginia. So yes, very cool. Inside, this is a Vectrex carry case, and it carries all the Vectrex. You can have all the carts and accessories, and of course the Vectrex unit itself. Very sweet to see this, and that is it. That's the 3 grails at the end. Huge shout out again to Gary, who organized this with his family and friends, and all staff and volunteers involved. Thank you so much. I had such a great time at this event, and I look forward to attending it again. Tons of old stuff, tons of friends, and just a great place. Not only that, but in the area itself, there's lots of game stores and flea marts, which I showed in this video, that you need to check out Ohio. It's on the map for retro gaming, and I am going to be coming back. In fact, I'm going to be back in November because I'm coming back to Torg, and so I'm going to be excited about coming back to Ohio this year, later this year, and I'll be bringing my homebrews and more, and you can check it out. More information below. The next convention that I'm going to is 64 bits or less, and that's at the Benton County Fairgrounds, and the link will be below to that. Really excited about attending that and looking forward to meeting people in person. 64 bits or less is an awesome gaming festival and swap meet, and so I'll be bringing my homebrew stuff there, and people will be able to play it, as I'll have a TV there and set it up, and it'll be a lot of fun. So, what was your best part of this video? Thank you so much for coming to my channel and viewing any part of it. It is most appreciated. If you like what you see, consider hitting that like and subscribe button and clicking the bell as I'm uploading videos every week. You folks are wonderful and beautiful. Let's keep it positive. This is the Immortal John Hancock, and you have a good day.